And hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Harmony Grove Hornet Coaches Show. I'm Dylan Word. We'll be joined this week, as we always are, with Coach Ernie Horskamp, and we'll talk about this past Friday night's victory over the Drew Central Pirates, as well as preview the huge matchup this Friday night against the Rison Wildcats. So after this break, Coach Ernie Horskamp will join me right here. And this break is brought to you by Farmers Bank and Trust. And welcome back. And Coach Horskamp, a 36-20 victory at homecoming. We said last week we wanted to send folks home happy, and we did that Friday night.
Yeah, that's mentioned last week. That's the football team's job. A lot of things going on at homecoming. Mentioned that last weekend, and it's glad everybody had a great time. I know there were some reunions going on and homecoming court and all that stuff, ceremonies, and we took care of business there Friday night. Made sure everybody went home happy.
We did, and we started the game off. We didn't get the ball to start the game, but Landon Garrett, he showed out Friday night, 3 touchdowns, and got it started early.
Yeah, first drive, we got the ball and drove right down the field. I think Landon scored on about a 30-yard run, something like that, and went up 8-0. But Drew Central was able to answer there with a long touchdown drive, and they were necessarily, they hit us on some passes there throughout the night. I wouldn't say, they had the one big play in the third quarter, but in that first half, that drive they answered, it seemed like we'd get them in third down and they convert. We just got to find a way to get them off the field there, and wasn't able to do that. So they actually answered, tied the game at 8. Then we were able to score before half and make it 14-8. Again, they kind of answered, getting into halftime.
Back and forth all night long.
Back and forth there. Went into halftime, tied at 14. Then in the second half, we kicked off to them, and they went on they got the ball past midfield, got a penalty, and we got them in. It was either third or fourth and very long.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think it was 4th and 18 or something like that, and they throw a pass. We have 2 guys there, and we go up to defend it, tip it, and actually just kind of falls into that guy's hands, and he goes in and scores. Yeah, and they go up 20-14 there. We get the ball back and actually end up punting on that possession. But we were able to get the football back after that. We didn't panic or press or anything like that. We just went ahead, and I know we were behind in the third quarter, and went ahead and we actually ended the third quarter, I believe, and went into the fourth down 20-14, and we punted on the first play of the fourth quarter, and we were able to get a stop and go back and we answer, make it 20-20. We failed on the
1-yard touchdown by Selwyn.
Selwyn Martinez did a great job.
Which I think it's his first touchdown this year.
I believe it is, yes. And then Selwyn actually set himself up there. Actually, he was the one that he went down and got the ball down to about the 2 or the 3 yard line, then punched it in on the next play. Then kicked the ball off to them. They could pick up a first down or 2, and we get the Landon Garrett picks one off, and
he read the quarterback just right.
Perfect, perfect read by him,
man.
And takes it in for a score. Get the 2-point conversion, up 28-20. You're feeling a little better there, and then next possession, same thing happens. They pick up a first down or 2, and then we get they throw the pass, and Landon Garrett goes up again,
Unreal.
Takes it and picks it off, and then takes it to the house again. And we get the conversion there and make it 36-20.
Kind of put that final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and then it's kind of weird. I thought we kind of felt like Drew Central would come out and try to throw the ball a little bit, but they seemed just rely on that running game. And
that option was very different for us Friday night.
We had some issues defending it. There's no doubt. It seemed like we'd have somebody on dive, quarterback would pull it, and he may pick up a couple, and then they run it, we stop them, they run it, and we stop them, and then they hit the pitch. And, and that's kind of what we talked about last weekend. You face that option attack, and you've got to have somebody on dive, quarterback, and pitch every single play.
You never know who it's going to.
Those guys did a good job running it.
We were talking in the press box Friday night how they ran that pitch just to perfection and stuff, and we just couldn't stop it.
We're sometimes, and it just seems like it just takes. They rely on one person being out of position, and it doesn't even take much. You feel like you're there, and just a step off, and they get there and make the pitch or whatever, and they executed the option pretty well.
They did. So let's jump over to defense. Some guys that impressed me Friday night: Cannon Booker and Walker Sweat. They both had double-digit tackles for the Hornets.
Look at that. I think Walker had 11.
Cannon had 12 or 13.
Cannon had 13. I think also Selwyn Martinez had 11 also.
Quentin Jones with 9.
Those guys played great. Played great all night. And those, you sit there and they rack up those tackles there and put themselves in position and finish a lot of plays for us. But those guys played a great game.
They did, and of course the defensive start of the game with Landon Garrett, back-to-back drives. I've called games for 7 years now, and I don't think I've ever seen back-to-back drives where a guy got 2 pick sixes.
No, I don't think I've ever seen it either. And,
it's very rare.
For a long time, and you see a pick six, and then rarely would you see it on the next possession, especially by the same guy.
Oh, by the same guy. So we're 5-3 now as we go into a big week against Rison. What do we need to improve going into that game?
Well, we're going to face a team that's going to run the football this week in Rison, and it came up Friday. Get those guys. We keep them for a short gain on first down and get them in a 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4. Just things to improve on, because Rison's going to want to just methodically move the football down the field. If we get those guys Friday night in 3rd and short, we got to find a way to get them off the field.
All right. So we'll talk more about that game against Rison this Friday night after this break. This break is brought to you by the Arkansas Army National Guard. And we're back to Coach. A huge matchup this Friday night against the Rison Wildcats. Possibly a 2nd seed in the playoffs on the line here right at Bill Manning Field.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like right now. Obviously a big game for playoff seeding. Right now us and Rison are tied for 2nd. We both are 4-1 in the conference. Each of us have our conference losses to McGee. And right now the winner of that game Friday would be in control of that 2nd spot. Still have to take care of business the next week. But it would give them a leg up on that 2 seed and an opportunity to play a couple home games in the playoffs.
And we talked in the last segment just briefly about how Rison likes to have that run game. I think they've had the same offense run game for the past 20 years.
Yeah, you're right. Ever since Coach Toddy got there, they've always been a ball control offense. Very good up front, always, and always have some good backs and hang their hat on running the football and playing good defense.
So the last 2 times that the Hornets have faced Rison, 2017 we won here at Bill Manning Field at homecoming, and then of course 2019 3rd round of the playoffs. We handled business there. What can we expect Friday night against Rison?
I'm sure an absolutely great competitive ball game. Probably going to be similar in atmosphere to those last 2 that you're describing. You just say you're playing Rison in a big conference game, and if you've kept up with football in South Arkansas, this game, Harmony Grove and Rison, has become a pretty big one over the last several years.
So Rison, they're, as you said, 4-1. We're 4-1 as well. What does that mean, playoff? 1 home game, 2 home games going in, or?
The 2, and right now the way the playoff bracket is set up, it looks like the 2nd and the 3rd seed in our conference open the playoffs at home. Of course, you have to take care of business the first, our first week of the playoffs, but then it looks like the 3rd seed in our conference, if they were to advance to the 2nd round, would be on the road, and then the 2nd seed in our conference, if they were to advance to the 2nd round, would have another home game.
Okay, so Rison will come here Friday night. They're always going to have big backs. They're always going to have speed. How can we contain that?
But we've got to have some extra guys in the box. I mean, that's and that's easier said than done because everybody tries it,
Yes.
and you still have to go. You've got to go out execute them. You've got to go out physical them up front, and that's just something that when we've been successful against them, we've been able to do. They're gonna. And if you're able to stop them even early, they're not going to go away from their game plan.
No.
They're going to keep grinding it out, and you just got to be able to do it for 4 quarters.
And you say grind it out. They want to control that clock. They want to control the time of possession. And if they can, they're going to win the ball game.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Anytime you play Rison, we played them in junior high last week and played them, a month ago in junior high. And you face that offense and. The biggest thing with that ball control, it affects your offense too because your possessions are going to be limited.
Yes.
And that just makes every single possession that much more important. And, and putting them in, getting them off schedule is big. So, I always say that winning first down is about as big as anything when you play Rison. So that's something we're going to have to do defensively and win first down, and then offensively every single possession because just because of their style of play, even when you're able to slow them down, your number of possessions are still going to decrease, and you're just going to take advantage of every opportunity you get when you get the football.
I know they ran a dead tee Friday night in the junior high game. What is their main offensive scheme that they will run at?
Well, they mix it up. They're going to they base out of the split back veer. They'll have at least one tight end, sometimes two. Normally they have 2 backs in the backfield. They will. A lot of people saw them have the 3rd back in the backfield at the junior high game last week. They'll also do that in high school. They'll load it up and have all 3 backs in the dead tee. Sometimes they'll run with 2 tight, 1 tight end, 2 backs. It's just they give you a few different formations to look at, but normally there's going to be 2 to 3 backs in the backfield, and even sometimes they'll move those guys out to outside the tackle or the tight end, and give you some motion to look at, and run toss and counter and things back at you also.
I don't think we'll see any passes Friday night, you think?
Well, you'll see a few. What they do is they'll lull you to sleep. They start seeing those defensive backs come up and trying to do a little more than maybe they're supposed to. Getting involved or getting their eyes in the wrong spot. They'll try to hit you on a big play. And, they can throw the football. Actually, their quarterback they have this year, the sophomore. I remember from junior high last year. He can throw the football pretty well.
So 2 sophomores playing quarterback Friday night.
Yeah, you're right. But theirs, he can probably throw it. They probably throw it a little better this year than what they have the last couple.
Oh, all right. So we'll take a quick break and come back and talk a little bit more about Friday night's matchup. This break is brought to you by the VFW Post 4554. All right, and we're back. And Coach, Rison, Harmony Grove, 2 tradition bred schools Friday night. Fans going to be exciting.
Oh yeah, just mentioned earlier, you get these 2 programs together, especially just like you mentioned the last 2 games that the one in 2017 at home, the one in 2019 on the road in the playoffs. 2 great atmospheres, and I would expect the same thing Friday night.
Yep, that 2019 game is probably one of my favorites in the last couple of years. The atmosphere was just intense, and hopefully we can expect that Friday night.
Yeah, intense ball game, I'm sure. Should be if you're a fan of physical, old school physical football, Friday night's a good one to come watch.
It's nothing going to be flashy. It's just going to be ground and pound all night long.
Yeah, I know we spread it out offensively.
We're pretty balanced.
We're balanced for a spread team. We throw a little more than what we have in the past, but we still, we rely on our guys up front too. We rely on running the football. I know we throw it, but to win in big games, you're going to have to run the football, and and that's just one of those things that is going to happen Friday. You're going to see 2 good teams battling it out, and big game with playoff implications.
And I think you mentioned that they run that split back veer. We saw the veer against Drew Central. How can we adjust to combat that this Friday night?
Well, luckily we saw a little bit of that this past week, and now we've seen it, and maybe we can adjust throughout the week and do a little better job, and we can see the mistakes that we make and see how you look like you're in position, but it just takes it just takes half a step of being out of position, and to have them where they can, quarterback can keep it, or he can make the pitch or whatever. We, after seeing it now a week, we should be able to make an adjustment, because our kids, our guys, they're going to make the adjustment, and they're going to go out and want to improve and get better, and that's what they're going to do.
And I'm sure a coach like Coach Clay Toddy, he's going to see those mistakes on defense, and he's going to capitalize on it every time. He's seen everything.
Yeah, and have all the respect in the world for Coach Toddy. He does a great job, known him for a long time. He's going to, those guys will be ready to play.
Absolutely. So we'll take a quick break and come back and talk a little bit more with Coach Ernie Horskamp. This break is brought to you by Everett Contracting. All right, and we're back. And Coach, before I talk about Friday night's game, let's talk about this upcoming Thursday night's game.
Yeah.
Your Junior Hornets will compete for a second straight conference championship.
Yeah, those guys have had a great season. We've discussed that our conference is split. So us and Rison, I guess we split our games. So we both finished 5-1 in our division, with our margin of victory larger than theirs when they defeated us last week. We still get the number 1 seed,
which is
out
awesome.
of our division, and that speaks volumes for those guys.
Yes.
And, those guys have had a great season, but we're not done yet. We'll go out, we'll have a good week of preparation, and go down and play for a conference title over at McGee Thursday night, 7 o'clock.
That's it. And last year it was here against McGee.
Yes.
So we'll go down there this year, and they've got a little, I guess, chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
They want to take some revenge.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll remember that. And that's part of it. And that just should serve as some motivation for us. A chance to go back-to-back conference championship teams in junior high. And that's a good deal for those guys. And those guys have earned this opportunity, and they're ready to go take advantage of it.
Absolutely. And talk a little bit about some of those players, Zakiah Smith and Haygood and Hernan. They've played well all season long.
Yeah, those guys. You mentioned those guys. We got a lot of guys. We're pretty balanced. We got a lot. Those ninth graders. Junior high is kind of funny because there's such a difference in a 7th grader to an 8th grader to a 9th grader. Most of the time, your junior high teams are 9th grade dominated.
Yeah.
This one, is no different. I mean, and then next year, those 8th graders, they're going to get their opportunity because they're going to look physically totally different.
Oh, no doubt.
And those guys, which a lot of those 8th graders are contributing, but that 9th grade class, that freshman class, is doing a great job. They kind of, just like last year I mentioned, you kind of play as 8th graders. You kind of play. You watched a lot of those 9th graders, and some of those guys did contribute last year, but it was that freshman. It's always that freshman class.
The more experience.
Just like in high school, it's those seniors. You're going to win with a good senior class. In junior high, you're normally if you're successful, you're going to be successful with a good freshman class, and those guys have looked at this opportunity. They're a little different group. They're not the numbers aren't as high as what it was. I think we had 26 freshmen last year.
We had a lot of freshmen.
And then this year, I want to say it's 17 or 18. If I had the roster in front of me,
I had to call them each out for team captains Thursday night.
But those guys have done a great job. They're pretty gritty. They work really hard. And I'm really proud of that group, that whole junior high team. And it's an exciting opportunity for them, and looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So you'll have a long night Thursday night coming back from McGee. We'll come back Friday 7 o'clock for a matchup with Rison for a possible 2 seed in the playoffs.
Exactly. It's going to be a fun week in the Harmony Grove football program.
Absolutely. Hopefully we can end both nights with a W.
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right. So that'll do it for this week's Coaches Show. I'm Dylan Ward for Coach Ernie Horskamp. We'll see you next week.